Sanji's father, baby. Yo, he looked like a beast. He looked like he's a monster. Past two One Piece chapters. The last chapter, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I wasn't really feeling it. I mean, it was for the most part feeling like some in-canon filler shit in a way. Something you see like in the anime if they just threw in some filler where like all these copies of Luffy, this and that. And it kind of just really wasn't like the best chapter in the world. It was an average chapter at best. I would say it wasn't a bad chapter, but it wasn't anything like that we actually needed. It was just kind of showing a little bit more of the islands and introducing another one of Big Mom's, you know, kids and stuff like that. So that chapter really wasn't all that. Latest chapter though, I mean, even though we still had to deal with a little bit of that, once it got to the Sanji stuff though, and us seeing his dad and the little conversations with his sister as well, you definitely gotta wonder, and I can't wait to actually find out, because we are gonna find it out at some point, what really went down and what was the last straw that made Sanji leave his family 13 years ago, because he's like, you know, looking at his father like, no. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with principles and the things that Sanji believes in compared to what his family believes in, but there gotta be some events. Maybe his dad treated his mom like shit and he didn't like the way his brothers were being raised and stuff like that, but I just can't wait to see, because like, judging from the way he talks to his father, the way, like, you know, even though the sister was saying, you can have all these maids, they'll do whatever you want, you can have all this money, soldiers that'll lay down their lives for you, Sanji is still like, no. And that goes to show that, yeah, some serious shit must have went down for 13 years ago, which that would have made him a little ass kid, him to say, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. So definitely builds up more of the suspense in that regard. And once his father showed up, I'm just like, this motherfucker, he looks like a monster. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Pika's design, except, I don't know, he just looks more sick because he's not this giant idiot like Pika. He looks like a fucking boss. And like, Sanji versus his father already? Like, I thought that this was gonna be later on down the arc, so I'm glad, even though last week's One Piece chapter wasn't all that, this week they're like, yo, okay, Oda's like, yo, you guys wanted something good? Alright, I'm gonna give you Sanji versus his dad. So great fucking setup and great ending for this week's chapter. Overall chapter, I definitely say it was a good to a very good, especially because, you know, the middle way through, the stuff with them on that island, it feels as though it's yet again just kind of world building a little bit more, understanding that, you know, Big Mom's islands are fucking crazy. You have all sorts of different things, and more than likely those are probably copies. I want to say maybe memories or replicating people that have been on that island, because how would it have Sanji and Pudding on that island as well when obviously they're not there? We see Sanji's over there, so Sanji's probably set foot on that island before and they made a copy of him and they probably connect with memories. I remember there was a filler like that, and that's what makes me feel as though like the last chapter and a good chunk of the latest chapter with what's going on with Luffy and the crew feels like filler, because I've seen this before where they had like the copies of the Straw Hats and stuff like that. So not really feeling that bit, but once we get to the main stuff and Sanji and his father and shit like that, amazing. Honestly, I love the ending of this chapter. I loved everything once the father walked in and shit like that. You can see that he commands a great deal of respect. It kind of gives you already a little bit of insight into Sanji's father's character, because motherfucker has a giant ass picture of just him. You don't got a family photo, nothing like that. It's, hey, look at me, I'm fucking awesome. One day we're gonna rule the seas of the north and shit like that. So definitely gets a little more insight. This motherfucker is very boastful. He's probably very cocky, and yeah, it's gonna get serious, and I really hope we get to see Sanji and him throw down. That's gonna be sick as fuck. Let me know what you guys think though. First of all, what is your feelings in regards to the stuff that's happening with Luffy and the crew right now on that island? Are you digging it? Feeling like it feels like filler? Not really, you know, what is your take on that? And Sanji versus his father. First of all, do you think that this came out like, whoa, you know, going real quick, because it was kind of like, we want to see that, maybe it's gonna be towards the end, and bam, right there, here you go. And your overall thoughts on the past two chapters of One Piece in general? I mean, again, last week, if I had to give it a score, I would probably say I'd give it maybe a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, it was just average. This week's chapter, maybe a 7.5 to an 8 for this one. Like, midway through on, fucking bomb shit. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.